Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Emily here with the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. It's part 8 today, guys. And I'm just making sure that we are live on our various platforms. Let's see here. Okay, we are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday, had a wonderful week, and today we are talking about participant onboarding. If you are not sure what's popped up on your phone or your computer right now, you got an alert saying Stronger You Senior Fitness or Emily Johnson was live. This is the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. It's a weekly series where I talk about really all things senior fitness, all things that relate to your older adult fitness program. So if you are a person who wants to or does work with older adults in a fitness or recreation setting, this is the series for you. If you oversee or support individuals who teach fitness or recreation in any kind of setting for older adults, this is definitely going to be for you as well. So we're going to jump right into it. And I guess before we get started, even just if you are new, it is part 8 today, but the parts typically don't lead on to one another. We definitely will build skills upon one another, but if you didn't join me for the other sessions, that's okay. You can still join for today, and then feel free to go to the Stronger You Senior Fitness Facebook or LinkedIn pages, and you can watch the old series back then. So let's just double check here that we are in fact live. Perfect, seeing it live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn. Wonderful. Okay, so let's get right into it, everyone. Find my mouse here. Oh, maybe I have to turn on the mouse. That would be a good start. Okay, here we go. So we're talking about participant onboarding. And actually, maybe I want to go back. I'm really excited about this topic. So as you can tell, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So participant onboarding. Whenever you have a new individual come to your fitness program, join your class, you have this really awesome experience to give them a really great introduction to your program and to senior fitness in general. So a lot of people, they just allow individuals to sign up or show up to the program, and there's all these really important steps before that sign up or show up that we could be taking advantage of to make a really, really great experience. So that's what we're going to go through today. And first step of that is when that person first inquires about your senior fitness program. So you can see here, I've got a picture of a lovely young lady, and maybe this is your concierge at a retirement community or your receptionist. Maybe this is the front desk person at your community center or 50 plus organization. And first impressions, they're everything, right? And so does the person who's going to be that first contact for your individual, do they know what to say about your fitness program? Do they know what to tell them to do in order for next steps in order to get them into that program? Because sometimes when people are faced with a person who doesn't know the information or can't really point them in the right direction, sometimes people get frustrated and they give up. Maybe it was a big first step for them to even inquire about your program, and if they're met with someone who's not knowledgeable at the process, not knowledgeable at the benefits or the class offering, that could be a big roadblock for that new person. But they don't necessarily have to be an expert because you want them to pass them on to you. So whenever someone inquires about your senior fitness class or senior fitness program, a great first step is to book a consultation. So book a sit down, book a time to get to know them and what they are looking to get out of your program. So that's where we'll go next here. So the initial consultation. Great thing to do first steps is background questionnaire. So I have a background questionnaire resource for you that we're going to go through in a moment. And then after today's presentation, I'm going to put them up on both the Stronger You Senior Fitness LinkedIn and Facebook pages. So you can go there later after the webinar and you can access that background questionnaire if you want to start using it with your participants. And it's really important during this initial consultation to link the interests to the program benefits. So if you have someone who comes to you and says, I want to get fit, perfect, physical activity, join my class, that's what we're going to be focusing on. But let's say they approach that front desk and they ask the front desk, I'm looking for a way to keep my brain sharp. Well, first reaction might be to say, oh, we have a reading group, we have a guest speaker series, we have brain games, we have all these intellectual programs. But we've talked about this in past webinars about the results that we get for our brain when we do physical activity. So that's a really great way to say, hey, we have the brain games, but did you know that taking part in a really great physical activity program is shown to be one of the best ways to keep yourself intellectually sharp? Or maybe they're looking to meet people, make social connections. Well, we have a really awesome senior fitness program. That group is really bonded together. They have a lot of fun together. So you can look at that social aspect. Let's say they are wanting to, get out in the environment. Maybe you're going to talk to them about your walking groups that take part now that the spring is upon us. Maybe you want to point them in that direction. So whatever their interests are, we do want to try to link that to the benefit you have within your fitness class. Okay. Now the next couple points I have there on the slides is fitness testing, goal setting, and the recommended schedule. So here's now where we're going to go through the background questionnaire that I'll make available to you after today's webinar. Okay, so this is a new participant background questionnaire. And as you can see at the top, you'd put the date, you'd put the individual's name, and the first thing we're going to do, very standard, we're going to get some contact information from them, date of birth, gender, all of that good stuff. And then this is where we really want to get to know them. We want to know their activity history and their level of motivation. So first question, are you currently physically active? If so, what's the type and what's the frequency activity? Okay, so if they're currently already taking some fitness classes, or they currently always join a walking group, these are the things that we want to put down here, because we want to see how we can complement what they're currently doing. Or if they're not doing anything, then of course we'll build from that as well. We also want to know what types of physical activity have they enjoyed in the past, because that might be an indicator of what kinds of programs we want to put them towards as you're going through and building out their class recommendations. And then why did they cease that activity? Why did they stop doing that activity? Did they have an injury? Did they have, life commitments that got in the way? What was the reason that they stopped that activity? It could be they lost range of motion in their shoulder, so they stopped playing tennis. Well, maybe range of motion and flexibility in the shoulder is something that we want to put as one of their goals. Maybe it was life just getting in the way, and they used to join a walking group every week, and now they haven't had an opportunity to go to that walking club. Maybe we will be the ones to motivate them and get them back into that activity that they loved but just stopped doing. And if we scroll down here, what motivated your inquiry today? So that's really key to meet someone where they're at. Did they read an interesting article in the newspaper? Did they watch a program on TV that made them think, hey, I should get active? Did they just move into your retirement residence and they've heard really great things about the senior fitness program? Are they worried about their health? Do they just want to have fun? So this is where you link it back to, as I said, those interests. Because sometimes they're not necessarily motivated to do fitness because they want to be physically fit. Maybe they are in great physical shape. Maybe they're looking to keep it that way. Maybe they're looking to meet friends. Maybe they're looking to get out and outside. Whatever it is, we want to know what motivated them to come in that day. And another really important question is, how can being more physically active improve your life? That is key, okay? I like this question better than what are your goals? Because when I ask an older adult, especially, an individual who's 85, 95 plus, what are your goals? A lot of them will just tell me, oh, I'm 90, honey. I don't have any goals. I'm just taking it day by day. I don't buy green bananas, right? Like I've heard all of these sayings, but it's never too late to get involved in physical activity and see the results of it, even if you don't have a goal per se. And what's really powerful about this saying is, or question I'll say, is when they start to think about what the possibilities could be like if they were more physically active? Do they want to have more stamina so they can get down to their, down to their mailbox without having to take a break? Do they want to be able to join their family on, family trips and not be holding the group back? They might actually start to dream a little bit where maybe they've told themselves, I cannot get, physically stronger or in better shape than I currently am. So that's really important. Next, we also do want to know if they have any diagnoses from a healthcare professional. We want to list those out. I'm sure many of you have heard of a PARQ. So a PARQ is a physical activity readiness questionnaire. And typically we do these with individuals between the ages of 18 and 69. So there actually is a cutoff for the use of that PARQ plus is typically what it's called. So anyone over the age of 69, generally we do want them to consult their healthcare professional before beginning any physical activity with you. So have they consulted? Yes or no? Maybe their doctor said, yeah, you better get active. Perfect. So they can put yes. And typically, or really I hope, their doctor, no matter what their chronic condition, is going to want them to be physically active, okay? So it's not necessarily for a screening out, but we do just want to make sure for you, for liability, that you are ensuring that this person is safe to exercise. So talking to their healthcare professional is going to be the best way for them to do that. So I'm going to pause there. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the question box. The Facebook questions come right up on the screen for me. I'm going to just look and see if I've got anyone asking any questions on LinkedIn. A couple comments on LinkedIn. So let's see here. It's not necessarily. Oh, okay, just some comments or just some hellos. All right, and nothing from Facebook right now. Let me just pull up LinkedIn again. So hello to everyone on LinkedIn. Thank you for saying those hellos. Okay, let's go back to this now. You should see the setup I have behind my camera here. Oh my Lord. Okay, 1 second here. There we go. And we're back. Beautiful. Oh, now I gotta pop up on my screen. Okay, let's continue on here to goal setting. All right, so step number 1, you see it there. There's only one step that you've got before the goal setting, and that is the fitness testing. Fitness testing is so important because it really is a great educator and tells us truly where we are in our physical activity journey, no matter the age. And then when we have that really tangible evidence, we can then build from it and we can get really good SMART goals, right? Specific and measurable and wonderful goals. Oh, and I hope I didn't lose you. LinkedIn's disappeared there. Nope, we're still good. Okay. So after you've done the senior fitness testing, you're going to use them to inform the goals that we're going to talk about below, and then you're going to put it in the participants file. So number 1, let's talk about a cardiovascular goal. Canada's physical activity guidelines recommend we get the 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity of aerobic activity per week. So if you do the senior fitness test, you're going to do the 6-minute walk test or the 2-minute step test. And if you go back to our previous Art of Senior Fitness program design series, I believe it was number 3. So episode 3, we talked about outcome-based programming and we talked about fitness testing. So if you want to know a little more about fitness testing, go there. You can also email me at the end and I can assist you with any fitness testing issues or inquiries. Okay. So a cardiovascular goal could be, I want to attend 3 cardio classes per week, or I want to get to an hour per week, right? We may not be able to get right to the 150 minutes per week. We might want to take small steps towards that. Or I want to go for a 30-minute walk per day. I want to be able to make it from my suite to the dining room without taking a break. So really make these specific and really impactful to the individual. Or when you look at the senior fitness test results, there is 3 categories. So there's below average, average, and above average. So let's say you fall into the 30th percentile, you're just below average. Let's say you want to increase to average. So that's the real power of doing senior fitness testing, is we can see where they fall on the spectrum related to other people who are their same gender and their same age bracket as well. And then we'll move on to our muscular strength goal. So again, physical activity guidelines tells 2 days per week of muscle and bone strengthening activities. And so what is their goal here? When you do the senior fitness test, you're going to do a bicep curl and you're going to do a sit to stand. So it's going to be upper body strength and lower body. So once again, maybe your goal is tied to certain improvements that you want to see on that fitness test. Or it could just be, I want to be able to lift my groceries or my shopping bags myself. I want to be able to attend 3 classes per week. You're going to go over the guidelines and you want to attend 3 classes per week. Maybe you want to get away from that 2-pound dumbbell and you want to get to a 3-pound dumbbell. So again, make these really measurable, specific goals that you can work towards over the next 4 to 6 months. Next, we've got balance. So activities for balance prevention, the World Health Organization recommends 3 days per week. So what is the individual going to do to keep their balance and enhance their balance and prevent falls? What kinds of activities are they going to take part in? And there's also specific balance tests that you can do. So the senior fitness test does look at all components of fitness, but it doesn't look at balance. So you could also feel free to email me if you want to specifically look at some balance assessments that you might want to do with your individuals. Flexibility goals. So where could you benefit from increased range of motion or flexibility? We talked about the individual who maybe they gave up tennis because they just lost the motion in their shoulder or it was getting too hard to do. So maybe they want to increase their upper body strength and they want to increase range of motion in their shoulders. Now, it is really important to pause here and just know limitations. Sometimes different things happen to our joints, whether it's a frozen shoulder or you've got various conditions where you're no longer able to get a certain range of motion around a joint. And some of that is not going to get better. And I know when we work with older adults, sometimes they're of the generation, well, no pain, no gain. I just got to push through it. I just got to get my arm up there. And I've seen, one too many older adults really push through pain because they're trying to gain back that range of motion. So this is where as well, when they're meeting with their doctor and they're talking about these goals, we do want to know what are the realistic limitations because there might be some. We can still work on, increasing as much flexibility as possible, but within pain-free ranges of motion. So that's really, really key. And then do you have any other goals? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to plan for a trip? Do you want to be able to walk a certain distance? Is there anything else that we didn't capture above in the goal setting that they would like to achieve? Maybe they want to make a new friend. Maybe that's their main goal for coming to the fitness classes. They want to make friends. We can put that goal down there. Now, based on all of these things we just talked about, all the goals they just set, now we're going to recommend them a class schedule. So this is where you, as the expert, as the person with knowledge, needs to tell them what they should be taking part in. So again, really looking back to Canada's physical activity guidelines, what classes can they take or what activities can they take part in that will help them to reach Canada's physical activity guidelines? So that's what we should see in that class schedule, or we're working towards it. So as I said, if you've gone from 0 exercise, you probably are not going to hitting all the guidelines the next week. So let's put a plan in place for what that's going to look like. Okay. And then of course, reassessing every 4 to 6 months to see where those improvements have been made and going forward from there. Wonderful. Okay. And again, I'll just pause, see if we have any questions. Looks like we are all good as of now, but if you do have any questions or you want to just put a comment out to the group about what you're currently doing when you're onboarding your participants, we would absolutely love to hear that as well. Okay, so to recap, we've got that first impression, we've got that initial consultation, we've gone through doing that fitness testing, goal setting, and recommended schedule. Now we have that first class, okay? Customer experience, guys. So this is just chock full of opportunities for you to just make a great first impression for your older adults' very first class. So that might start with a reminder. So we've built out what their class schedule is going to look like. Maybe you're going to write them a personalized letter or send them an email or give them a call to say, hey, you're a few days, you're a week, tomorrow is the day of your first class. Do you feel prepared? Do you know what to expect? Do they know what to wear? Do they have their running shoes all set out? So we want to go through all that, what to expect. Maybe that's arrive 5 to 10 minutes early to grab your spot, to sign any last minute paperwork. And just as I'm saying paperwork, I probably should have added one more item into the initial consultation, and that's the signing of any waivers or liability forms. Depending on your organization, you may have these signed at the front desk when they sign up, or you may need to have them sign that before the class begins. So that just jogged my memory for signing those forms. But tell them what to expect. So, your first class you're coming to is going to be Stronger You Senior Fitness Cardio. It's a 30-minute class. We're going to start with a gradual warm-up, and then we're going to get into that moderate to vigorous pace physical activity. We'll slowly bring the heart rate down, and then we're going to go into a stretch at the end. So we want them to know what can they expect from this program. Now, the next line there is a class ambassador. So this is a wonderful opportunity to not only give the new person a great experience, a buddy, but to give someone in your class who's maybe been in the class for a while, they want, that sense of purpose. They could be a class ambassador. So maybe at your fitness center, they're waiting in the lobby when that person comes in from the parking lot, and they're going to escort them. Oh, right this way. Our class is in this room. Or maybe you're in senior living, maybe they pick them up at their suite and say, hey, I'm here, knock, 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 we're going down together. Again, that's very good, especially in senior living, if they're maybe thinking, oh, not today, but now they've got kind of a bit of friendly peer pressure to help get them down to the class. And then welcome them to the group. So that can be a big barrier for anyone at any age. When you know that there has been a group that's been going on for quite some time, sometimes you feel awkward, joining a group that maybe feels like a clique or solidified or whatever it might be. So for you to introduce them and say, hey, this is Joan. She's brand new to our group today. She's going to be joining us all week. So feel free to come over to Joan and introduce yourself. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh my God, my people would never want to be introduced to the group, but I would sort of challenge that even if you don't like being the center of attention, it's maybe 1 minute of awkwardness for then a really, really nice, warm reception. So even if you're not the type of person who likes to be singled out, you're going to get all this love afterwards. And most times I would think, Joan's going to walk away saying, wow, that I was really made special in today's class. So that's very important. And that's really important to check in, not actually just at the end, but check in throughout the class. Now, this is where you probably wouldn't want to single them out. We won't want to say, hey, Joan, how you keeping in there? And then, everyone turns over and looks at Joan and, maybe she is struggling a little bit. But definitely, having a comforting glance over to them during the program, a little thumbs up, a little okay, maybe having the class ambassador sit next to them and from time to time just sort of kind of leaning over and saying, oh, are you okay, Joan? So just not to draw attention from the whole class, but still so they feel like someone is helping them along. And definitely at the end of class, as everyone's leaving, that's when you'll want to go over and just say, hey, Joan, how was that, your first class? And this is where you might get some feedback of, wow, that was really hard. I don't know if that's for me. And that's when you can kind of adjust and say, okay, well, there is an easier class. If you thought it was really too hard, maybe we try the easier class next week, or maybe you just stick with it and it'll get better as you go. So that's where you can kind of adjust the goals, adjust the schedule based on now seeing that person in a real class. And then the first 30 days, keep checking in. That's going to be so important. I call them little fragile eggs at the beginning, right? That's anyone who's getting a new goal or developing a new set of habits is a fragile egg. They need to be nurtured and kept warm and safe. And so we want to check in regularly. Now, that doesn't mean every single class you need to go and say, hey, Joan, you still okay? Let's let Joan kind of get her independence and find her way in the program. But we do want to check in regularly. And we also also want to have regular encouragement. And encouragement about those milestones. Wow, Joan, this is your 10th class. You've been coming for 4 straight weeks. Wow, you're really building a habit. Maybe it's a walking group. Joan, you've done 10,000 steps with us now, or gone 10,000 feet, whatever it might be. Let's really recognize and celebrate those milestones. And then you've got the first 6 months, okay? So now they're building a habit, they're getting there. We need to continue to monitor the need for progression. So something I sometimes find is that we have our one older adult fitness class and that's the only option. It is important to have varying levels of progression because our bodies need progression in order to continue to see the benefits, or else we'll reach that plateau where we're no longer going to see the same benefits that we were previously. You also want to fitness test again. 4 to 6 months, do the fitness test, see, are we making the improvements? And if we're not making the improvements, what are the reasons why? Have they been away? Have they been sick? Were they not feeling well the day of the assessment? If that's the case, just don't do the assessment, wait till they're feeling better. Is it because the class itself, maybe that's a wake-up call for you as the instructor of, wow, this person's really not getting anything out of this class. And I know that can seem a little bit harsh to say because we all want to think that we're doing a good job, but I know that you truly care about the individuals that you're teaching. So if you're not seeing those improvements, you need to take a hard look at your program to make sure you're doing the right things, or else really maybe they are coming and having fun, but we're not getting those physical benefits. And so for maybe a bit, we are wasting our time if we are trying to see physical improvements. We want to track the progress on the goals, and we want to set new or readjust the goals. So maybe you did set the goals and they were too out there, they were not realistic, and that's okay. And especially if you're new to goal setting or new to teaching fitness, it's an art. So it's an art to know how much increase or decrease, or sorry, just increase, how much increase someone is capable of making, okay? So that's really key, is being able to readjust those goals and be honest with yourself and be honest with the individual of maybe why you guys weren't able to hit those goals. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today for the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. We have a couple minutes left, so if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the box. Or if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see for future Art of Senior Fitness Program Design episodes, please feel free as well to put those in the box. You can also email me directly. Email's up there on the screen, and feel free to visit strongeryouSeniorFitness.com. The last thing I have 2 things to mention. The second last thing I want to mention is our True North Challenge. So the weather is warming up. People are starting to come out of the woodwork. In Canada, we are so lucky and fortunate to have such a beautiful country in which we live in. And even further to that, we have just wonderful people who are living in our country. Obviously, I'm biased. So Stronger You Senior Fitness is holding a True North Challenge. So you won't be able to click this link if you're trying to click the link, but it's strongeryou-senior-fitness.didact.com. Didact is our learning management system. And if you go there, you can see all the details for the True North Challenge. So essentially what we've done is we've given you one of our tracks from Stronger You Strength, and we are challenging you to get outdoors in beautiful Canadian landscapes or local landscapes, or it could be in your building, but show us your Canadian pride. Show us what it means to be Canadian to you and to be an active ager in Canada. So the instructor will receive a complimentary Stronger You Senior Fitness certification, or if they're already a Stronger You instructor, they'll get free access to the series, our monthly content that we put out for an entire year. And your class will all get Stronger You Senior t-shirts and, of course, national bragging rights, okay? So winners announced by June 5th, and then that will go out in support of Canada Day in July. So take a look at that. And the very last thing I want to mention before it hits our time together is next week we're going to talk about program adherence, so exercise adherence. How do you get your people to make the decision to exercise, to start exercising, to keep exercising. Okay, we're going to talk a bit about some ways to keep people engaged, some contest ideas, all of those sorts of things. The week after that, we will not have the Art of Senior Fitness program design, and then we'll be back April 3rd, and I will have a guest with me. So Lisa Moorhead is going to join us for the Art of Senior Fitness program design. Lisa Moorhead is the Active Living Manager at Berwick-Comox Valley. So she's going to talk about the senior fitness perspective in senior living. Berwick-Comox Valley is the recipient of the New Step and International Council of Active Aging Beacon Award for Best in Wellness. So she'll talk a little bit about what they do at Berwick in order to reach that Best in Wellness status. And she is a Stronger You Senior Fitness instructor, so she'll tell you her perspective on Stronger You Senior Fitness and how it plays into the programming that she does at Berwick-Comox Valley. So that is my time. I'm actually a minute over. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll just put that back on there, and check out the True North Challenge. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much.